So, Samsung just dropped the Galaxy S25 series, and there's a bit of a head-scratcher right out of the gate. The Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge, which became available in the US after its pre-order period ended last Friday, May 30th, 2025, has launched as, get this, the most expensive model in the S25 lineup right now. This is pretty interesting because the S25 Ultra actually has a higher manufacturer's suggested retail price, MSRP. The reason for this flip-flop? It seems to be all about the current deals and discounts, which are, for some reason, favoring the Ultra more heavily at launch, making the Edge the pricier option if you're buying today. The free storage upgrade offer that was available during pre-orders has also ended, which changes the initial value calculation slightly for early adopters. Now let's talk about what makes the S25 Edge command such a premium, or at least what Samsung is banking on. A huge part of its identity is its design. This phone is incredibly thin, measuring just 5.8 millimeters. That's impressively slim, and it contributes to a very distinct feel in the hand. It's also remarkably light, tipping the scales at only 163 grams. These aren't just numbers on a spec sheet, they translate to a device that feels almost ethereal compared to some of the chunkier flagships out there. Crafting a phone this thin often involves more sophisticated engineering and potentially more expensive materials or manufacturing processes, which could be a factor in its pricing strategy. It's a clear design statement. The display on the S25 Edge is a 6.7-inch panel. This screen size is fairly standard for premium smartphones these days, offering a good balance between immersive viewing and one-handed usability for some. However, integrating a display of this size into such an exceptionally slim chassis is no small feat. We'd expect Samsung to use a top-quality dynamic AMOLED panel with excellent brightness, vibrant colors, and a high refresh rate, as is typical for their flagships. The engineering challenge here is to maintain display rigidity and durability while keeping that super slim profile, and that specialized construction might contribute to the overall cost of the device, setting it apart from thicker counterparts. Under the hood, the S25 Edge is powered by the new Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy chipset. This should provide plenty of horsepower for demanding apps, gaming, and smooth multitasking, keeping it competitive at the high end. However, one specification that immediately raises an eyebrow, especially considering its premium positioning, is the battery capacity. The S25 Edge comes with a 3,900 mAh battery. For a flagship phone in 2025, particularly one at this price point, that figure feels a bit modest. It's clear that a compromise was likely made here to achieve that ultra-thin design, balancing sleekness against potential battery longevity, a trade-off potential buyers will need to weigh carefully. When you start comparing the S25 Edge to its bigger sibling, the S25 Ultra, the pricing situation gets even more intriguing. As it stands, the base model of the S25 Ultra, with 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage, is actually $50 expensive than the S25 Edge. If you factor in the $50 Amazon gift card currently offered with the Edge, their prices become effectively the same for the base configuration. Moving up to the 512 GB storage variants, the S25 Ultra is only about $20 more than the 512 GB S25 Edge. This pricing structure makes the Ultra look like an incredibly compelling alternative, especially when you consider the spec differences. The S25 Ultra is undeniably a more substantial device in every dimension. It measures 8.2 millimeters in thickness, making it significantly thicker than the Edge, and it weighs a hefty 218 grams. This added bulk accommodates a larger 6.9-inch display, offering a more expansive canvas for media consumption and productivity. More critically, it houses a much larger 5,000 mAh battery, which promises considerably better endurance than the Edge's 3,900 mAh cell. These physical differences aren't just for show, they allow for more internal component space, which directly impacts other areas like the camera system and thermal management, creating a very different user proposition. The camera department is where the S25 Ultra truly distances itself from the S25 Edge. The Edge features a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera, which is a functional shooter but fairly basic for a premium phone. In stark contrast, the S25 Ultra is equipped with a far more versatile and powerful camera array. This includes a massive 200-megapixel main sensor, a 50-megapixel 5x periscope telephoto lens, equivalent to 111 millimeters, an additional 10-megapixel 3x telephoto lens, 67 millimeters, and a 50-megapixel ultra-wide camera. For anyone serious about mobile photography or videography, the S25 Ultra offers a vastly superior toolkit, with significantly more creative flexibility and image quality potential. Both the S25 Edge and S25 Ultra are powered by the same Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy chipset, so you'd expect similar raw processing power. However, the S25 Ultra likely has an edge in sustained performance. Its larger and thicker chassis provides more internal volume for a more robust cooling system. This means that during demanding tasks like extended gaming sessions or high-resolution video recording, the S25 Ultra should be able to maintain its peak performance for longer periods and resist thermal throttling more effectively than the much slimmer S25 Edge, which might have to make compromises in this area to maintain its sleek design under load. Let's bring another sibling into the comparison, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus. This model shares the same height and width as the S25 Edge, and also sports an identical 6.7-inch display size. So, from the front they might look quite similar. However, the S25 Plus is noticeably thicker, coming in at 7.3 millimeters compared to the Edge's super slim 5.8 millimeters. It's also heavier, weighing 190 grams versus the Edge's 163 grams. This added girth and weight in the S25 Plus aren't just for nothing. They allow for different internal configurations, most notably a larger battery and a more substantial camera setup than what the Edge can accommodate. The price difference between these two is quite significant. The Galaxy S25 Plus is a substantial $350 less expensive than the Galaxy S25 Edge. That's a major saving, and for many consumers this price gap alone could be the deciding factor. When you can get a phone that shares the same display size and premium Samsung branding for $350 less, the unique selling proposition of the Edge, its thinness, really needs to justify that extra cost. The S25 Plus still offers a high-end experience and, as we'll see, even surpasses the Edge in some key practical areas, making it a very strong value contender. When it comes to cameras and battery, the S25 Plus pulls ahead of the Edge. The S25 Plus features a more capable camera system, including a 50-megapixel main sensor and a 10-megapixel 3x optical telephoto lens, in addition to the same 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera found on the S25 Edge. This gives the S25 Plus more versatility for everyday shooting. Perhaps more importantly for daily use, the S25 Plus is equipped with a much larger 4,900 mAh battery. That's a full 1,000 mAh more capacity than the S25 Edge, which should translate to a significant improvement in battery life, easily lasting a full day for most users. Despite its high price, there are a couple of deals available for the S25 Edge that might sweeten the pot a little. Amazon, for example, is offering the S25 Edge with a $50 gift card, which effectively reduces the upfront cost. Furthermore, the 512GB storage model of the S25 Edge is currently seeing a $70 discount. This is interesting because it makes the price difference between the 256GB and 512GB S25 Edge models only $50, making the storage upgrade a relatively inexpensive and attractive option. For broader market context, it's worth noting that the standard, or vanilla Samsung Galaxy S25, is priced under $700, illustrating the wide spectrum of choices within the S25 family. So, why is the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge currently wearing the crown as the most expensive model in the S25 series, even when the S25 Ultra technically has a higher MSRP? It really boils down to the current landscape of launch deals and discounts, which, for the moment, are more generous for the Ultra. This has created a situation where the Edge, with its unique design focus, commands a higher effective price. Samsung seems to be positioning the Edge as a sort of high-fashion tech piece, where its extreme thinness and lightness are the primary draws, targeting a niche segment of the market that prioritizes these aesthetic and ergonomic qualities above all else. What truly makes the S25 Edge stand out from its siblings and the wider market is its remarkable physical profile. That 5.8mm thinness and 163-gram weight are its defining characteristics. For users who find most modern flagship phones too bulky or heavy, the S25 Edge offers an almost refreshing alternative. It's designed to be exceptionally comfortable to hold, to slip into a pocket almost unnoticed, and to make a statement with its elegant, minimalist feel. However, this laser focus on achieving such a slim form factor inevitably leads to compromises in other areas, most notably the battery capacity and potentially the complexity of its camera system compared to thicker phones. To offer a bit of broader context on high-end technology purchases, let's take a quick look at the tablet market and some recent Apple iPad deals. For instance, the refreshed Apple iPad, which was updated in March 2025 and features the A16 chip, starts at just over $300. This device doesn't support Apple Intelligence but offers a solid tablet experience. Then you have the iPad Air models, also refreshed in March, now equipped with powerful M3 chips and supporting Stage Manager for multitasking. These have 60 Hz IPS LCDs, and importantly, their storage is not expandable. Interestingly, the 13-inch iPad Air costs less than Samsung's own Galaxy Tab S10 Plus, illustrating different value equations. Ultimately, whether the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge is worth its premium price tag is a very subjective question. If its unparalleled slimness and featherlight design are your absolute top priorities, and if you're willing to accept a smaller battery and a less versatile camera system compared to other models in the S25 lineup, then it might just hold a unique appeal for you. However, for the majority of users, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus likely offers a more compelling balance of features, significantly better battery life, and a more attractive price point. And for those seeking the absolute best in terms of camera and overall capability, the S25 Ultra, especially with current discounts, often presents itself as the superior value proposition.